Hello, I've got one of the most famous stories ever written today. It was written by a man called Aesop about 2,000 years ago, and it's called The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time, long, long ago, when all the animals lived together in one place, there was a problem. And the problem was the hare. You know the hare with the big ears and the huge legs that can run fast across fields? Well, he liked everybody to know just how fast he could run. He'd run to and fro all day, shouting, look at me, look how fast I am. I'm faster than you, I'm faster than him, I'm faster than her, I'm faster than everybody." The animals got absolutely fed up with this. They couldn't stand his shouting, they couldn't stand his showing off, and he kept knocking them over and running them over every time he ran to and fro. They had to do something, so they had a meeting all together to try and agree what was the best thing to do. "Well," said the badger, "I suppose I could try and trip him up." "Oh no," they said, "that wouldn't be very kind. We don't want to trip him up. We don't want him to hurt himself." "Perhaps," said the little mouse, "we could persuade him to stop it. Tell him it's not very kind or nice." "We've tried that so many times," they said, "but it just doesn't work." "Perhaps," said the fox, "I could dig a few holes like the holes I dig for myself to live in. Maybe if he fell down one of those, it would teach him a lesson and he'd never do it again. He'd be so busy looking where he was going." "No, that would hurt him too. We really don't want to be unkind," the animals said. Then something strange happened. The tortoise came up with an idea. He didn't speak very often, but he said, excuse me, I've got an idea. We could have a race, and we could show he wasn't the fastest by somebody else winning." "Oh yes," they all said, "that's a great idea." And they looked around for somebody else who might beat him. But they couldn't think of anybody who was faster than the hare. "No problem," said the tortoise. "I'll do it." They all giggled. "You can't beat him. You're not fast at all, tortoise." "Oh, I'm sure I could beat a hare any time," said the tortoise. Well, the animals hadn't got any better plans, so they agreed to take up that one. But they didn't do it with any great hope in their hearts. They thought the tortoise was bound to lose against the hare. After all, tortoises are so slow. The next day, they were all ready for the race. They'd set out a course right along the side of a lake from one side to the other and back again, with a starting point and a finishing point. And the hare was standing on the starting point, ready to go, jogging up and down, getting himself fit, making sure he was ready. "Yes, oh, I'm going to win this race, I'm going to win this race." But the tortoise was nowhere to be seen. Eventually, just before the race was due to start, he came ambling up. "Hello, everybody, I'm here now. We can start the race whenever you like," said the tortoise. The animals all looked at each other. They were horrified. The tortoise seemed even slower than usual. He would never win this race. But they had to go through with it now. The fox started the race. He said, 1, 2, 3, go! And before the animals could even draw a breath, the hare had set off, leaving just a cloud of dust behind him. They looked down the path, and there he was already halfway round the lake, before the tortoise had even set a few gentle, tender steps towards the start of the race. The tortoise was bound to lose, they could see. He was already halfway to losing. And the hare could see it too. In fact, he got halfway around the lake when he found a little temple. Nobody was there at the time, it was very quiet, and he looked behind himself and saw no tortoise catching him up. He said, "Oh, I could have a break. I could just sit and have a little nap for 5 minutes. Nobody will mind. And then when I wake up again, I could still win the race." So he did. He sat down. His eyes began to droop, and very soon he'd fallen asleep. Well, a couple of hours later, the tortoise reached the spot where the hare was, still fast asleep, snoring away. "Hello, hare," said the tortoise. But the hare didn't wake up. "Are you all right?" said the tortoise, but still the hare didn't wake up. Oh dear, he's just having a little sleep. Oh, he wouldn't want me to wake him up. It's horrible when someone wakes you up like that. I'll just crawl past him and try not to wake him." And that's what Tortoise did. He made his way slowly past the hare and carried on down the path, now in the lead and getting further and further away from the temple altogether. A few more hours passed, and Hare finally woke up. Oh, oh, that was a nice little sleep. Oh, I wonder how long I've been asleep." Then he realised what it was that had woken him up. He could hear cheering from the other side of the lake. He looked behind himself. No, it wasn't from that direction. In front of himself. No, it wasn't there. Then across the lake to where he could see the finishing line. There it was. All the animals were hopping up and down, and the tortoise, he wasn't far from the finish. "Oh no," said the hare, "the tortoise has nearly won." And he began to run, faster than he'd ever run in his life, round the edge of the lake, faster and faster and faster, over the little bridge, round the other side. But all the time the tortoise was getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Eventually the hare was almost within reaching distance of the tortoise. But it was too late. The tortoise reached one final claw over the edge of the finishing line, and he was done. The race was won. The hare had lost. Well, that taught the hare a lesson. Slow but sure always wins the race. So take things steadily, don't hurry things, and you'll beat someone who tries to hurry and doesn't do things properly. And I'll tell you what, if you ever ask a hare who's the fastest animal in the forest, he won't say anything. He'll just run away as quickly as he can.